I'm not even sure what the fuck Glenn is talking about in this one, because it says Nord Stream attack shows Putin's war is just beginning. This seems to have it two ways. Also, isn't Nord Stream one word? Okay. We'll get to that. I'm curious. You're curious. Let's jump in like nothing ever happened. Like I was never gone. And let's just do a show. And we'll settle back in and we'll get all back in our... It'll be the comfort food of discomfort. Here we go. All right.
Joined by...
Oh, Kate McKinnon. No way. They can't afford Kate McKinnon.
Chris Stewart,
Not Chris Stewart.
He was an Air Force officer, distinguished graduate, top of his class, officer of the training school, undergraduate pilot training, 14 years as a pilot.
So he's had oxygen deprivation, and now he works in Congress. I'm kidding.
Flying both rescue helicopters. Oh, I don't want to get hurt. Oh, my gosh. And a B-1B bomber. He holds the world's speed records, including the world's record for the fastest nonstop flight around the world. He's written 17 books, national bestsellers,
Fabulous.
6 different languages. And he's also on, some of those super secret, intelligence committees. So I wanted to get here and see what we could get from him. Usually nothing, but I thought we'd just pump him for information about what happened.
Ew. What? Why is that? Why is that? Why are you smiling, Glenn? Ew.
With the Nord Stream pipelines. Hello, Chris. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Glenn. That's the nicest introduction I've had in a long time.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yes, glad to pump you.
You're a conservative, so they're not going to give you nice introductions.
That's true.
So, Chris,
Citation needed.
tell me what you can about, there's a lot of people that their first thought with the Nord Stream pipeline was, oh my gosh, did we do this?
Not a lot of people. A lot of assholes. A lot of idiots.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think a lot of people have seen the Tucker Carlson piece and some other writing that has indicated that. And let me tell you, Glenn, first, we genuinely don't know. Sometimes when I come on your program, you're kind of tease me saying you pump me for information and I don't tell you anything. Sometimes I know.
He just likes the pumping.
But can't say.
Right.
But in this case, we really don't know yet.
Okay, wait. So we don't know who did it, but are you including we don't know if we did it?
No, I don't think there's any reason to believe that we did it. And in fact, I think I say with a high degree of confidence, as much as you can in a world that's gone crazy. And there's times in the past when I'd say, hey, I don't think that's true. And it turns out to be true later on. So I say it with a bit of caution, but no, I don't believe we did it. I don't think there's any reason for us to do it. If we had done that.
Glenn's going to have a sad. He brought this guy on to reinforce his goofy fucking Jimmy Dore narrative.
I think we would know. We would be aware of it. There'd be some evidence of it. And I don't believe that's the case. The biggest thing, Glenn, I mean, you look at this, I feel like the Grinch, if you will. I puzzled and puzzled till my puzzler is sore. It just doesn't make any sense. If you look at every nation, it's really hard to create a very plausible explanation for why that nation would do it. It's certainly the case.
I'll tell you why. Because it's a dumb fucking idea. There is no practical strategic reason for it. It is, they did it to vent the gas in the sea. The Russians did it to themselves. And if it had a secondary value as a Gulf of Tonkin incident, then they can use it for that. But the primary thing was they had a pressurized pipeline that was never going to empty on the other end. They would have to empty the gas out on their end, and everybody fucking smokes in that country. What the fuck? Who in Russia would go, what are you guys doing today? We're venting gas today, gas venting. We're going to vent the gas. You're going to what? Yeah. Well, I mean, the pipeline's not going to be used and it's all full of gas. So what the fuck are you doing, bro? What do you mean? Don't fucking smoke on venting day. Are you fucking what? Yeah, that's right. She kidnapped herself, man. This is, you're not privy to all the new shit.
If you're trying to argue the U.S. did it. And by the way, some of the reporting on this is misleading in the sense that they they take the statement from Victoria Nuland, for example, the State Department official. She's clearly talking about Nord Stream 2 and that they're going to try to pressure Germany not to approve opening that pipeline. And I think some people misread that, say, oh, see, they're threatening to blow it up. Ukraine simply doesn't.
Yeah, by the way, he's quoting Newland because there's video of Biden going around on all the right-wing channels saying exactly the same fucking thing, and he doesn't want to pop that balloon for those guys.
Have the capability, and I don't think Ukraine would do it because it would stress the relationship with the allies so much. Russia, on the other hand, I think you could make an argument that, for one thing, they just want to create chaos. That's very, very clear.
Right. They don't need a reason.
And this could be a tool for them. The EU is looking at a deadly winter. I mean, literally a deadly winter. There's potential for thousands of people, maybe tens of thousands of people to freeze to death in the EU.
Oh my
gosh. Why are we helping them? Oh my gosh. Secondly, their reserves are at 88 fucking percent, asshole, and we can still deliver to these countries. And the Caspian Sea pipeline opened the same fucking day the explosions went off.
Oh my gosh.
They also just routed another one into fucking, where is it? Oh, I'm getting aggravated already. These morons don't even bother to do their goddamn homework. Yeah. So let me see. Here it is. Chevron's TCO to divert 200,000 tons of oil. Whoops. To the to Batumi. And okay, that's the wrong one. Hold on. There's so much fucking stuff on this. Caspian Sea pipeline. All right, so let's always go back. Okay, boom. Maybe this one. That's the. That's not the. Hold on. Talking about a separate one. Let's see. Whoops. Can see. Whoops. Where's this one? Yeah, here it is. Okay, so two of them. One of them that was right next to, but that basically bypasses the Nord Stream, opened on the same day the explosions happened. So if you want to talk about another total reason why this could happen, never mind the fucking fact that, you know, Russia would do this like 100 times over. There's a lot of reasons why Kazakhstan would do it. Like, it's just silly. The new pipeline that went in that goes by Denmark will basically substitute the oil or the gas that would come from that area, and that's come online. Now, one of the problems that they had with one of the countries that was way behind on its supports, its supplies being built up before the winter came, was Bulgaria, because it's landlocked. Well, they just did a branch from that pipeline, from another pipeline rather, into Bulgaria, by way of Greece, that allows them to get gas from other sources other than Russia. Tens of thousands. Like, there's the guy's still talking, like using numeric talking points and availability of gas conversations from fucking 2 years ago.
About this, Glenn. For the average EU home, it's going to cost more than $3,000 a month to heat their home over this next winter.
No, the average home is not going to cost $3,000 a month. Oh, okay, hold on. Oh, we got to check his numbers on this one. Let's see. Hold on. EU home, $300 a month. on energy news. Mm-hmm. 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 I don't know where he's getting. Let's see. Fact box. Here's Europe. Europe's efforts to shield households from soaring energy costs. So this is going to be closest to what we can find as far as this is from August 15th. This is leading into it. Let's see. The forecast Cornwall Institute average British annual bills for gas and electricity will jump to £3,582 in October, £4,266 in January. Annually. Not a month, you fucking maniac. Nobody is paying $3,000 a month for gas. The average European house is not paying $3,000. There is no sources. They don't even say. He's just talking out of his ass. I'm sure he got the $3,000 because it's the average for the year. Let's see. Cash handout to elderly and other measures, 300.1 billion Danish crowns, 439 million to cushion the impact of the things. Previously 288 million. European Commission, they're paying this 80% of capacity, blah, 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 blah. I don't see a singular bill on this. They're using the pound as the forecasting estimate for similar payments. Like, and look, it's bad. It's up $1,000 for the year. It's not up fucking $3,000 a month, you lunatic. Wait a minute. Listen to him say this, and listen to
$3,000 a month.
Okay, no. Fucking not what? Jesus Christ. Even if he went like 3,000%, it's still goofy.
EU home, it's going to cost more than $3,000 a month to heat their home over this next winter. And I think that Russia would have been under enormous pressure.
Oh my God. Wait, hold on. Did he say?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, there it is. Hold on.
Thousands of people winter. I mean,
he says 10,000, tens of thousands of people are going to freeze to death because they don't have $12,000 US to make it through the fucking 4 months of winter.
Literally a deadly winter. There's potential for thousands of people, maybe tens of thousands of people to freeze to death.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Think about this, Glenn. For the average EU home, it's going to cost more than $3,000 a month to heat their home over this next winter.
Seriously, that's just fucking dumb. That's not even true if they bought U.S. liquefied gas. They're getting it from Qatar. They were still getting 20% from Nord Stream. They're getting it from Kazakhstan. One of the reasons why Kazakhstan is fed up with Russia and why they're separating from them is because they have gas to sell to Europe. Here you go. Yeah, here's this 2 weeks ago. Literally. Wait, hold on. Agree. Look at the title of this article. Kazakhstan to Europe. Let's be friends. The country's deputy foreign minister highlights its democratizing steps and oil wealth in a pitch to Brussels. Kazakhstan is pitching itself as the top Eurasian partner for Europe now that Russia has become a pariah state. Despite having friendly relationships with Moscow, the Central Asian country is careful to avoid being seen as purely a Russian ally, especially since once he got in power, he threw Putin's buddy in jail along with the guy's family and wants to let the West know it's open for business. Kazakhstan is tied to Russia by millions of human ties and a very strong commercial, economic, and political ties. At the same time, Kazakhstan has maintained relations with Ukraine. This is true. Since the war broke out, Kazakhstan has had to delicately balance its relationship with Moscow and Europe, risking the ire of both. During a visit to St. Petersburg in June, Kazakh President Kassym-Jomart Tokayev said he would not recognize the two breakaway republics in Ukraine. Still hasn't, even with the bullshit referendum. Meanwhile, Kazakhstan wants Europe to keep investing in the country, assures that it is scrupulously enforcing Western sanctions, even if it brands itself as a workaround. Look out. Anyways, so Kazakhstan is providing like gas to Europe as well. And like the Gazprom linked pipelines, Russia is trying to shut them down for maintenance repeatedly and fuck around with them. But ultimately, it's an attempt to stop gas flowing from Kazakhstan because Kazakhstan is fine with gas going to Europe.
And I think that Russia would have been under enormous pressure to open up that pipeline. And this just eliminates that for them. They don't have to deal with that international pressure now. But I think more than that, they love the chaos. And my greatest fear is that it shows that we're not in the wind down phase of this war. We're really in the opening stages of it still.
We're not in the opening stages. Have you checked? The Ukrainians just surrounded the Russians in Lyman. They're doing the same fucking thing down by Kherson.
And if Russia...
Is this just... So maybe the pumping thing is a good analogy for Glenn, because all he's doing is making grunting noises while this guy says stuff.
Russia did this. And my personal belief is that they probably did. It shows you that there's a lot of things, a lot of tools that they are still have available to them.
Yes, tools. They've got still a lot of tools available to them, like blowing up their own shit. How far down into your tool bag do you have to reach? Well, let's see. I want that girl to go out. I mean, I could go up and I could walk up to her and say something. I could beat up her boyfriend and just pick her up and run off with her. I could send her a lot of anonymous letters that are very well written and make her fall in love with my mind, so it doesn't matter what I look like. Or I could blow up my own car. Let's see.
That are going to make it really difficult for us to step through the next, I think, 6 months or so.
And if we don't really know, they can claim we did it or anybody else did it.
With the help of Glenn Beck and Jimmy Dore and Glenn Greenwald and fucking Tucker Carlson.
And escalate, because they immediately said, well, this gloves come off now if you can do this.
Wait a minute. They've had gloves on right now? What's if you mean the rape squads were gloved? These were gloved attacks? These severing of genitals of POWs on camera? That was gloved? Jesus.
Forget about nukes, which they did mention. That justifies.
They always mention them. Look, the Russians use mutual assured destruction as an umbrella under which they can attack anyone because, like, nobody can. If you guys try to stop us, we'll kill the dog. That's the whole point.
Buys nukes. But forget about that. That means if they claim we did it, they could hit our energy infrastructure.
They already hit our energy infrastructure. They just don't bomb it. They use cyber attacks, fuckwad.
Yeah, it's absolutely. And that's one of the very obvious conclusions is...
Yeah, and if the Europeans are paying $3,000 a month for gas, Americans are going to pay $27 trillion a week.
That they would claim that we did.
Fuck me.
But regardless.
Yeah, I saw that Tetraquark. North Korea, they launched a fuselage of a missile. Whether it's only a missile if it's got explosives in it. But they might, I don't know what they're dicking around for. I'm not even sure they meant to fire it in that direction.
Of who did it.
Correct.
Including if they did it, they're going to say that we did, and it's going to open the door for them to retaliate. And if you take that in conjunction with what happened yesterday and them claiming that there was this supposed referendum on the four essentially states in eastern Ukraine, where, I mean, these numbers sound Stalinistic. 99% of the people there voted to join with Russia.
It's interesting because this dude's fucking facts are all over the map, but his take on it is pretty, pretty based, pretty normal, pretty like rooted in reality, which is pissing all over Glenn's we shouldn't fuck with Russia. We should just let them do what they want to Ukraine. In the classic words of George Carlin, do what you want to the girl, but leave me alone,
82% of the people in another region voted to join with Russia. Again, those are the kind of numbers that Stalin would win by. And it's beyond belief, of course. But if you combine these two events of the last few days, you can see that Vladimir Putin is positioning himself. He's not looking to wind things down. Excuse me.
Great. COVID. Great. We got another. I hope he's vaccinated because he's in the house.
He's looking to exert more pressure, not less.
Really? That's weird for him. Hold on a second. You're telling me that Vladimir Putin is a high-pressure, villainous fucker? That's weird. Hot takes just served up daily, right off the griddle.
So I talked to Chad Robichaux,
who has a fabulous name. Tad Robichaux? Come on. Tad Robichaux, the Rubik's Cube expert. Tad Robichaux, the fried chicken king. Robichaux's Cookhouse. Tad Robichaux, the chess champion. Tad Robichaux, attorney at law.
In Ukraine.
Tad Robichaux, amateur porn star.
Just recently, and he actually walked the mass graves. He told me last night, because I said, before I put you on the air and saying this, I've seen the video, but I want to make sure you didn't just see a patch of dirt or you saw things that the Ukrainian government were saying this is what it was.
Because if I even bring this up, even if it's 100% true, my people in my chat and other places are going to eat me fucking alive because they root for Putin.
That you actually saw these things. And he said, Glenn, I saw women and children with their hands tied behind their back and bullets in their head that they tried to bury quickly because they were leaving. This is crimes against humanity. Oh, yeah. But you haven't seen anything, according to Rep Chris Stewart, from famously from stewart.house.gov. That was gloves on.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question about that. It shows a couple things. It shows the desperation of Vladimir Putin and his leadership. It shows the inhumanity of leadership, which doesn't surprise, I think, anyone.
Yes, it does surprise people. It surprises Glenn Beck's fucking listeners right now.
Also shows the results of a hastily assembled and untrained army. This is now not a...
Yes. Again, this is the kind of situation, this is the kind of toolbox you have if blowing up your own shit is in that toolbox. Like, Jesus Christ. The top tools were send in ineffective forces with decades-old material, untrained and expecting an easy win into an area full of people who would rather not be murdered. That didn't work. Shit. Threaten the world with nukes, I'm not even sure work. No, that's okay. What do you got left in there? All I got is blow up our own shit. Well, you might as well give it a try, honestly. I mean, it's like they'll never expect it. That's the last thing they would expect. Is for me to punch myself in the dick. It's like coming to the boxing match. And you're like, I got this boxing thing. I watch boxing all the time. I know how to box. God damn. Yeah, but dude, you've only pillow fighted. Get it? See, these are pillows. I'll be fine. It's going to be good. Who's that guy? His name's Mike Tyson. And if he loses, they told him that you get to shoot his family. Oh, blah, 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 blah. This is not working out. This is not working. How did he punch me in the face and break my leg? Jesus Christ. I know. What do I got left? I got nothing. Maybe if I start punching myself in the groin. That's the thing about Vladimir Putin. He's always playing 5D chess with a 3D board. And sometimes he eats his own pieces. Just where the fuck did it go? Huh? Where's my queen's? Where's your bishop? My bishop's up my butt right now. Every time I move in my chair, checkmate, buddy. So stupid.
professional army any longer.
Like, this is the guy who falls back in a fight where he's getting his ass kicked and starts going, oh yeah, I'm crazy. You don't know what I got. I did get way into the analogy, Doc. I did.
Many of them are conscripts that have been in the army for, in some cases, a matter of a few weeks is all, with very little training, if any, and including in that.
How long you been in the army? How long was bus ride?
You know, the laws of war, the discipline of a professional soldier that we don't expect from them any longer. Which brings me to this.
Gee, it might have something to do with the Chechens who think rape is a technique, and the Wagner Group guys who were disemboweling pregnant women in Somalia a couple of months before they were pulled into Ukraine.
One point.
And those are the guys that are hiring prisoners. Look, we'll take some sex offenders, but not like the really Jeffrey Dahmer ones. Like, we understand people, mistakes can be made. Like, he literally said that. The dude fucking recruiting sex offenders. Like, yeah, okay. Like, not the really bad, not anything where you might actually go after your fellow soldiers is like, to use an old phrase that from the Stalin area, verboten. But anything shy of that, we all get crazy.
Point, Glenn, I hope I can make. And I think now stepping back from that, and that is, okay, where are we in the U.S. and what are we doing there? I just finished an editorial that asked this question.
By the way, I would like to say for the record, like I said, Chris Stewart's details about fucking European nuclear winter are all over the fucking map. But that dude is going to vote for more Ukraine aid. Understand that. Like, of the Republicans, no matter what kind of bullshit he talks, he will vote for more military aid to Ukraine when necessary. Just saying. He's not going to hold off like the fucking aid of the Freedom Caucus assholes. He's going to vote that way. You can tell. He knows better.
Look, in the early days of the war, I supported separate. I thought we had to help Ukraine and the Ukraine military. They have shown enormous courage. They have demonstrated that courage on the battlefield can change a battlefield in ways that sometimes weapons can't. But the President of the United States has to tell the American people now, this is our goal in Ukraine. Because if President Biden agrees with President Zelensky that now our objective is to expel every Russian from eastern Ukraine, including Crimea, then I promise you, we will be at war with Russia.
No, we won't.
If that is our goal, Vladimir Putin is not going to leave Crimea.
He's going to leave Crimea first. They're trying to hold on to Donetsk and Luhansk.
I mean, it was part of Russia up until 1958, and when Khrushchev drew a line and says, oh, now you're part of Ukraine now. And the people there...
Yeah, but it was all part of the Soviet Socialist republics. All right, all the stands, all the guys, all right, all the Russian stands, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, those were Uzbek SSR, the Uzbek Soviet Socialist Republic, okay? The Turkmenistan was like Turkmen SSR. You understand? That, like, they all had the Soviet Socialist Republic part of it, and the USSR, Russia, the bigger part of the country, was technically calling it the USSR, but was effectively the biggest, the motherland, the fatherland, the asexual worm, stan, whatever. But they became, after the Soviet Union broke up, they became stands. They became states of their own. Afghanistan was never rolled in. They tried, but it was never rolled in. They were trying to, gather it in because it was dogs barking at the edge of Turkmenistan and those countries. And so they wanted to control it eventually with the goal of course, world domination. And it would have been Afghan SSR, but they never managed to fucking do it. So all of these countries were usurped and held on to. The territorial integrity of any of those countries was sucked up by the USSR, which was a fucking 70-year experiment of its very own. Yeah, I love how suddenly the Soviet Union becomes fucking ancient history.
Genuinely are ethnically Russian. They speak Russian. They want to be with Russia. And
No, they were pumped into Russia from 2014 to fill in the gap so that they could put up these bullshit referendums. The Soviets punted these they filled Crimea with Russians to run the Turks out.
And Putin is not going to surrender Crimea. And
He's not going to have a choice. He doesn't have the ability to fucking hold it at this point. And he's not going to nuke it. Because even if he doesn't control it, if they ever got back on their feet and were joining the rest of the fucking world, sausaged in between the Europe and China, they're going to need that access.
if President Biden agrees with Zelensky, he needs to brace the American people for a long, long, and potentially very deadly war. If, on the other hand, our goal is just to say, go back to the pre-February invasion lines, then he should state that that's our goal. So that
That's not our goal, motherfucker. At this point, all bets are fucking off with Russia. There is no, you can't trust them to go back to the original lines. That was the problem in the first place. They seized that territory, like they seized part of Georgia, like they seized chunk of Moldova. And the idea is to connect all those fucking dots and reform the USSR. And they've already stated that their goal is the elimination of the Ukrainian people and the Ukrainian identity from the face of the fucking earth. This is not an argument about land anymore. And the only way that this is going to be back to, a truce that's trustworthy is the removal of Russia back to the pre-2014 line. It's the only way, because they're not. If anybody thinks that they're going to okay, well, we'll let you keep Crimea after all this, and we'll let you keep Donetsk and Luhansk, those are now part of Russia. Sure, have your bullshit referendum. Stuck up that part. And a little bit extra area on the Donbass. It's a fair trade for all the people you fucking shot in the head and tied up. And we'll just wait till you reconstitute your military and then try a fucking again? Are you shitting me? Why should they? Russia stormed into those areas, and then they backfilled it with civilians, bullet catchers for the Russian expansion, so they could salami slice a chunk of Ukraine like they do in all of these countries, with the idea of eventually taking another slice and taking another slice. Get the fuck out of here.
Zelensky knows we're not going to support him going beyond that.
Yes, we are.
I think we're at this point now.
And also, we don't have to support him going beyond that point. If they have the military capability to do it, if their people want to keep fighting, and we have the ability to protect them, help them from an invading force in this particular instance, we have, I think, a moral duty to do so. We're not sending American troops in, and if Putin, bombs fucking Denmark or Norway because he's a fucking lunatic, which he is not going to do. Because the minute he does, China scissors itself off from him, because that gives permission for the rest of the world to go, all right, China's doing the same thing with fucking Taiwan. We're just going to circle it with ships. No fucking end of it. That's it. We're not going to one China policy, blah, 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 is dead in the fucking water. Also, we're going to help Japan get Russia out of this area. That's how it's going to be. They're not going to have any friends in the fucking world. And somebody who wants to grow old, fat, and get blown by somebody who looks like Melania till late in their life is going to blow his brains out and take over the country.
Where we have to define why we are there and at what.
No, we don't. Again, what are your two options here? One, We're in till they get the fuck out, all right? And then that becomes the big blow up wedge point with Turkey or that. All right. We don't have to define that at all. We're supporting the Ukrainians in their fight for independence. They set the terms. We're giving them the military support. We're not sending troops in. And then once this comes to a head, when Russia makes a decision, when they say uncle, that's when it's done. Or you can keep the Donbass. We're not going to help them move past this point. You can keep Crimea and all this kind of stuff, in which case the Ukrainians are like, wait a fucking second. We didn't agree to give this land. They took it. Now where does that end? Ask the fucking Georgians. Ask the Chechens. So what's the standard now? Because Russia has nukes, they can invade and take a chunk of fucking anything. What's next? Alaska? And by the way, for those of you that are like, they've got nukes though. Who the fuck says they work? Honestly. If guys within the military are selling off parts of tanks and troop carriers because they never think they'll be needed anymore because they don't use them that often, do you think they're servicing their fucking nukes at this point? With what? Their drones have toy chips in them. Seriously.
What cost is it going to be to achieve the goals of that defined reason for being there? And
this is, by the way, this is him kissing ass and getting back into the realm of what's okay to talk about on Glenn's show.
The president hasn't done that at all. And the result of that, Glenn, is 20 years later we may be in there just like we were
No. If he says like in Afghanistan?
In Iraq or Afghanistan.
Okay, first of all, Biden got us out of Afghanistan. Trump ran on getting us out of Afghanistan, and he never fucking did. He made a deal with the Taliban. Don't shoot any of our soldiers, and we'll be out by next May. And then we now know, because of all of his rallies, that he was lying, that he was going to stay in Bagram. He was going to keep Bagram in an area surrounded by Al-Qaeda, the Taliban, and ISIS-K, so our soldiers could get shot at every time they went for supplies or anybody fucking had to do anything where they poked their head above a fucking wall. Why? Because it's flying distance to Xinjiang?
The Senate just passed a bill last night to fund the government, which includes another $12 billion for Ukraine. Chris, this has got to stop.
No, it fucking well doesn't.
It's got to stop.
If it does stop, you haven't seen anything yet in terms of violence, death, and destruction in Europe. Because if Putin gets a toehold and we cut out this early, within the first fucking 8 months, if we cut and run after 8 months ago, well, that's just too much. La-ba-dee-da. After a fucking, like, I'm sorry, what are you afraid of? We're going to have to rescind the Trump tax cut for corporations? If we pull out within 8 months, he gets a toehold. Everybody on Channel 1 in Russia is going to be calling for, we got to go into Poland after this.
Well, and one other thing that a lot of people don't realize, we're not just funding their military efforts, we're funding their entire government operations, including their pension plans.
No, we're not. We are giving them money to make some of their bond payments. We're not funding their fucking pensions.
What? We're funding Ukrainian pension plans. That's right. And look, I want to help them.
No, we're funding their bond payments, us and the rest of the EU.
I am a defense hawk, and I believe the United States...
Bullshit. Citation needed.
...needs to help in this situation. But we have to define the limits of our help.
No, we don't. Because the minute we define the limits of our help, that's Putin's strong point. That's his hold line.
We owe the American people an explanation for how much money we're willing to spend. And
no, we don't. Not in it. We're not, dude, this isn't, he's talking like we're 12 years into the fucking Iraq war.
How long we're willing to be there,
Chris.
and the goals we're
and we're not there. be there, we're not there. We're actually paying so we don't have to be there.
To achieve.
Chris, will you do me a favor?
Would you pull my head out of your ass or your head out of my ass? It's so dark in here, I don't know which is which.
You put me in touch with whomever has all of the information of where this money is going, including the pension plans. I would love to have you come on the air.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, hey, tell you what, come back on when you can explain that the average European household is not going to be paying $3,000 a month for gas this winter.
explain it to the American people.
Yeah, explain that.
Somebody has got to expose all this. I think, you know, honestly, my first thought when I saw the Nord Stream was, I don't think that we did this.
Bullshit. He's only saying that because his first thought was exactly that. Like every other conservative asshole in his strata. He's walking it back because this guy's on the air, and this guy is served in the armed forces, and therefore he outranks Glenn in brains and dedication to country. So he's deferring to him.
You know, we didn't send our Navy SEALs in to do this. There's no way.
No, it was a fucking pig.
However, I'm not convinced that some rogue party, somebody.
Yes. The Pentaverate did it. The deep state did it. It was, you know what it was? It was the Illuminati. It was the Rothschilds, I think. Probably. Doesn't George Soros have a submarine division?
And it could be for a million different reasons.
Yeah, they just picked one. There's like a big fucking pinwheel.
I'm not convinced that some of our money that has been over there without any.
Yeah, we paid for it. Because that money bounced through fucking, I don't know where. Yeah, Hunter Biden did it in a fucking scuba suit.
Accounting didn't give somebody $500 million and say, go blow these things up.
Asshole, it doesn't cost $500 million. Russia did it with 2 pigs and about 100 pounds of TNT. It was Steven Seagal. Hey, brother. Welcome to Sniper School. First day, Operation Kick-Ass. Hold on, I missed. I got him. Hold on. Hey, brother. Shut the fuck up. $500 million. For what? Fucking. So you're telling me that all we got to do is row out here and drop a grenade in this small canister you built, and we get to keep like $500 million, give or take $600 and the cost of a rowboat. Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. Will you stop rowing the wrong way? Let's get going. It's cold out here. It's fucking. Are we getting near Denmark? God damn. $500 million. What does he think shit costs? Fuck me. It's like what's his name? Jacques Cousteau's grandkid, you know, is going, hey, pardon me, has anyone seen our little sub, the little one? Yeah, the one with the grippy arms on it. I parked it right over here, and it's gone now. I don't know where it's happened to this, my little submarine. Well, I suppose someone just joyriding and looking at, you know, lion seals, or they are majestic at this time of year. And they go, you know, sometimes they go very deep, deeper than you think, you know. And so they'll bring it back. You know, this is good. So, yeah. What has happened? I don't know. What has happened to my little mini sub? You know, I just heard the other night, we're having wine and we're having cheese, and I just hear, Slava Ukraine, and then a small splash. and then I come out and it's gone. Sorry. This is just like, come on. I'm not gonna take this dickhead seriously. I'm not. Thanks, research versus gaslight. I'm not. $500 million. Go fuck yourself.
And we didn't do it.
No, we just paid for it. I was just holding this asshole's bag, okay? He said he had to pee, and he was like, "Can you take this through security?" And I was like, I bought Coke from the guy once, like in college. I didn't he only dated my sister for a week, Your Honor. I don't even fucking know this. How am I supposed to? It's not, yes, that's my name on the luggage tag. I think somebody swapped it. It's like Ash in Army of Darkness. Whoa. Hold it there, spinach chin. I never even saw these assholes before.
But it was maybe possibly our money.
Isn't our money to blame for everything, Glenn?
There's no accountability for any of this.
Why? Because we don't tell everyone where the fucking money went? Because you can tell where the arms are gonna show up if you tell people where the money went? We are in the middle of an actual fucking war, like a shooting war, where this guy just explained to you that Russian troops are tying women and children's hands behind their backs and shooting them in the fucking head and burying them in shallow graves as they get the fuck out of town. Now, why would you do that? Why would you do another war crime? Because they sexually assaulted them while they were alive. That's why, you fucking tool. These fucking guys, it's just gross.
And now that would be what, $75 billion that we have.
Trillion. It's trillion. It's how it converts into euros. It's 75 trillion. It's 75,000 times what we left in Afghanistan. I fucking cannot with these assholes today.
Sent over there?
Yeah, we sent 75 trillion.
$5 billion can change the world.
I know. And by the way, I know there's a billionaire watching on Twitch right now. Technically, there has to be. First of all, you're welcome. You're right. I am better than your shrink. Secondly, super chat me, bro. One whale and we're good. Like, no one would ever have to give to the show ever again. You're never going to be able to spend that. Dump it this way. You've got, I don't even need a whole one. I need just enough to fit in a rowboat. Me, where you going? I'm gonna do my show from an island, because my girlfriend likes the beach. All right, you've got $1 trillion. You can't toss me a half of a third of a billion and a rowboat and a couple of grenades and an old-fashioned diving helmet where I can put a lid on the bottom of it and just depth charge it down with a. Now I have this picture in my head of two guys in a rowboat trying to light a wick that goes into the ocean. It keeps going out, Yuri. Yuri, every time I light it, when it hits water surface, it goes out. Open the manual again. You're reading it upside down. I need flippers, true. I'll buy the flippers myself. They throw that my way. I'll get my own wetsuit.
Yeah.
Look at him. 5 billion could change the world. Like, he said that to a billionaire he's met, like a rich billionaire. Like, he's like, I could start my own CNN if you give me that money. That's Glenn looking for that, like, cash from some fucking body.
Well, that's one of the things I also point out in this latest editorial, Glenn, is that there's no IG, there's no accounting. We just send the money and hope it ends up where we say it does.
And boy, it's fucking working. I would like to say for the record, we are sending money to Ukraine, a pittance, largely, somewhere in the order of $40 billion already signed off on. Most of the money, by the way, that is being added to these things has to get sent through and re-signed off on because it was this greater package, and then they send it in pieces. A lot of this is lend-lease too. So it's going piecemeal, and so you got to point by point, thanks to the Iraq war and other stuff, you got to point by point allocate that money over time. It's why there isn't $84 billion fucking dollars worth of gear in Afghanistan. There's a trickle of every like billions along the years. And then they'd get, like when 2014, we churned up like $7 billion worth of the helicopters and old fucking trucks and shredded it and that kind of stuff. So this is a situation where we're sending it, in bits. And by comparison to, we spend $758 billion a year on our military. This is a payment so we don't have to burn our other shit and our own soldiers. Because you bet your ass, if Russia took Ukraine and then started pushing its way into fucking Poland, which they absolutely would do because they would have steamrolled through that whole area, started war crimes, we would have had 2 years of fucking, early, I don't know if we want to get involved in World War II shit for a couple of years while they murdered women and children. And then we would eventually get dragged into it when they'd already built a base and took all the stuff and the resources from Ukraine.
And by the way, keep in mind, Ukraine is one of the most corrupt nations.
No, Ukraine was one of the most corrupt nations. You know why it was one of the most corrupt nations? Because it was being sock puppeted by fucking Russia. There is a big difference between Yanukovych and Zelensky. You motherfuckers. This is like being in 1920 and saying, America's a wagon wheel, agrarian, and slave-based society.
I know.
The world.
I know.
I know because I said that. I've heard that. Where'd you hear it? From the Russians who didn't want you to do anything about it?
For generations.
They lost
for generations.
$7 billion during the Biden debacle when he was vice president. $7 billion just disappeared.
Hey, ass fuck. Listen. Oh, God, this is so aggravating. That was when Yanukovych was there. That guy was a Russian sock puppet. So was the prosecutor. Biden got fired. All these talking points fucking die. This is literally, imagine if, here's how dumb this is. Let me explain this. This is like, think of all the Republicans, all the MAGA Republicans telling you that Biden is an extension of Trump and is furthering his policies because they were perfect. That there is no difference, Trump to Biden. Imagine them saying that. They're like, imagine these people, imagine Glenn and this dude saying, you know what? It's basically the same thing, the way it was under, the way it is under Biden is the way it was under Trump. Imagine thinking that. Because that's the difference between Yanukovych and Zelensky. It really is. Trump would have never tried to undermine Yanukovych in a million fucking years the way he did with Zelensky. He wouldn't have had to. It would have never been a request.
And nobody ever said anything about it here.
Dude, they had a fucking revolution.
Yeah. Well, that's because $7 billion is not that much money, Glenn.
Yeah, no, I know. I spend that on groceries lately.
That I believe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a chubby joke. Although I don't believe that because I would argue the inverse would be true because Glenn, though rich, eats shit all the time. And I had always thought when I grew up in Kentucky and I was eating dry potato flakes right out of the box because we didn't have running water. At one point, I thought the whole point of when you got some means is that you ate better at the very least, so that you could feed your children better and you could set a better example for your children in terms of what to eat. Meanwhile, this motherfucker goes to Sonic every day and thinks Whole Foods is for elites or something and blah, blah, blah. It's weird.
No.
So, Chris, will you? Can I have Ricky, my executive producer, reach out to you and just
have you come on and back up some of the bullshit you dropped, especially that $3,000 a month story.
See if you can help us put some of this stuff together? Because I did not know that about their pensions. That's insanity. That's insanity.
No, it isn't.
Well, and again, it's one of those things the American people deserve to know. And I think most Americans want to help Ukraine. Again, Glenn, they've shown enormous courage. We don't want Vladimir Putin to control that nation, but we have to do it in a thoughtful way. If we don't look back on the last 20 years, and again, I'm a defense hawk. I'm a former Air Force guy.
By the way, there's a huge difference between us supporting the Ukrainians in this situation and us supporting like the Mujahideen against the fucking Russians, or us actually attacking Iraq when the hijackers came from Saudi Arabia and were trained in Afghanistan, and us attacking Afghanistan as a country instead of just, like John Kerry put it, using it as sort of an Interpol and policing response, because the camps that were there where people were trained were not aligned with the functioning government of the place. And the idea of going in and having a war with a country that isn't even a fucking country is moronic and is going to be a quagmire, because there's nothing to be gained. You can fish around in there forever and you're never going to find what you're looking for.
But you have to look back on the last 20 years in Iraq, in Afghanistan, and in Libya, and a number of other places, and say, okay, what lessons have we learned? How can we do this better? And we need to apply them.
I gotta say, considering the way Ukraine is performing against supposedly the people I like to call the number 2 army on earth, considering that how well they're doing, it's clear the money is well spent. It's clear they're doing exactly what we want them to do. If that money is going anywhere but the front line, I'm fucking amazed. Consider it a tip at this point. If they're only using like limited amounts of the funding, first, and it doesn't go there in the form of cash. We're not fucking helicoptering bricks of cash in. These are electronic exchanges. We have definite track of them. We're just not talking about it right now because the Russians will know how much money is going to arms, where it's going, how much going is to civilian infrastructure, where it's going. So that lets them know, civilians are backfilling into this area. So let's strike there. We'll kill more people. Like, it's fucking stupid.
Those lessons to Ukraine, and this is the time to do that. I'd be happy to help you get that information if you want.
Yeah, go for it.
I want to know where that money's going. Good luck. I don't know who knows that. Now, what I can help you do is find out what specifically the language allows for. For example, pension funds in Ukraine. We can help you find that out for sure.
Jeez, that's incredible. All right, Chris Stewart, thank you so much. I appreciate everything you do in Congress. Keep strong, buddy.
No, you don't, because he votes for all the Ukrainian funding, and he will continue to do so, as will, by the way, everybody from Utah. I got news for you. All this wailing and gnashing of teeth and him playing footsie with this bullshit that Glenn wants him to talk about, and this whole, like, we're funding their no, we're not. We're helping them with their bond payments that allows them to take the money from the bonds and pay their pensioners, because pensioners there, it's not their Social Security. It's people who are going to starve to death otherwise. This is supplies to fucking refugees in areas. It's just dumb. Yeah, how much is a banana? Yes, $10 a banana. Oy, God. Is Don Jr. scared now? Yes, probably. Ukraine is a just and good place. It is. I like this whole idea, and it's literally like saying America had slavery in 1910. Like it's the same. This is the same kind of talk. If you're talking about, or let's say 1870, Imagine being in 1870 and saying the South is still a slave state and we lost the Civil War and it never happened. Imagine being a Civil War denier. That's what Glenn is doing. That's what Jimmy does. Every fucking day he talks about it. Every time Jimmy Dore talks about Ukraine, he doesn't mention Yanukovych's name because that's the dodge. He wants his idiot followers to think that it's been Zelensky all along, or Zelensky's a puppet of, Poroshenko, or they're all cut from the same, and it's just kind of a line of, he wants to think it's like two legs in the same pair of pants, and no matter where you are. Thanks, Mark. I appreciate that. Yeah, tell everybody about the stream. Let people know. Don't forget to subscribe. If you're on Twitch right now, there's some people twitching right now. Please twitch if you feel like twitching. If you have Amazon Prime, it doesn't cost you a dime to subscribe. And if you don't know how to do it, people will tell you how to do it, and it's really kind of fun, and it helps out the show. And, of course, patreon.com/HalSparks. Okay, now. Ooh, that got wound up. I was coming right out of the gate with that one.